and welcome to Shop Talk Live. I'm Carolyn Schnare here in Washington, D.C. Dan, I'm happy to be here.
Very good. Yes, thanks, Carolyn. I'm Dan Munford in the UK. Happy to be here too.
Well, Dan, you've been on the road a little bit, haven't you? It's a busy summer for you.
Wow, really has been. Lots of travel, most of it with flights that actually take off, some of it without flights that take off. But just got back from Oslo last week looking at EV in the Norwegian market, which is incredibly interesting. And looking forward to talking about Poland today, Carolyn.
Me too. I mean, I've never been to Poland, so this is my virtual introduction, and I'm going to learn quite a bit about that. So we're going to jump right in, shall we?
Absolutely.
Well, joining us for our two-part episode today, in our very first part, we're going to be joined by Leszek Jurczak, who is the NACS relationship partner for Poland, as well as Mark Wohltmann, who is the NACS global director. And Leszek's going to provide us with some market context and update on many of the challenges that have been taking place in the Polish retail of convenience. And Mark's going to share with us his perspective on the Polish market, which he's visited a number of times this year. And in the second half of the program, we're going to be joined by Żabka Poland CEO, Dr. Adam Manikowski, and he's going to talk to us all about that awesome retailer there. So welcome, Leszek and Mark.
Hello, good morning from Warsaw. Thank you for the introduction, Caroline, and hello to everybody in the world, to whole convenience family from warm greetings from Warsaw. Thank you very much for the invitation, and please let me introduce some aspects of Polish convenience market. But first of all, let's start from Poland as a country, because many of you may not know exactly the details about the country. So Poland is a country at the heart of Europe. We are located in the center of Europe on the area of a bit over 300,000 square kilometers. Population is 38 million. We are, of course, the EU member with the sixth largest economy in the EU. Interesting fact is that our economic development was significant because it was before COVID, 4.7. Of course, it slowed down a bit during the COVID times, but now it's recovery. And important for our industry that average salary in Poland is about 1.3 thousand euro, which is, for example, comparing to German market or UK market, more or less three times less. We have little unemployment rate, which is slightly above 5%, and that's also the part of our industry and influence the business. Some interesting facts that you may not know from Poland, that we actually have had the first oil mine in the world. In middle of 19th century, the Polish entrepreneur and chemist Ignacy Łukasiewicz established an oil mine, which then became a big industry called the oil mining and the refinery business. Some polls that you probably heard of are on the left-hand side of the slide. So really encourage you to get more knowledge about our beautiful country. Let's go to the next slide and talk about the convenience market in Poland. Just a couple of information about the convenience retail landscape in Poland. Our market is a bit different than usually the markets in the other countries, because we are very strongly dominated. The market is very strongly dominated, but by actually two big retail chains. And for forecourt convenience retailers, we have Orlen that has about 1,800 outlets. And the second competitor, which is BP, is, let's say, 3 times smaller in terms of number of the sites. So that's probably something unusual that is not visible, not possible, not happening on other markets. And on a very similar situation on the non-fuel convenience retail market, the hero of our today's episode, Żabka, is outnumbering the number of the second competitor, something about 12 times. So this is also kind of unusual situation. We have, of course, Żabka as a leader, which is 8,500 outlets company. And of course, you will learn a lot today about Żabka later during the episode. So the market is really the structure of the market is kind of unusual, but nevertheless, market is developing significantly. And as you can see on the left-hand side, we have also the big players, international players present on the market like BP, Shell, and Circle K.
That's really useful, Leszek, just to give us a bit of a background on the market, and very unique structure, as you say, very interesting.
Thank you. Let's start. Next slide, please. We have some upcoming changes on the petrol station market because the company number 3, which is Lotos, on the left-hand side of the slide, having 500 petrol stations, will be taken over by the leader, Orlen. And then because of the regulators, EU regulators decisions, Orlen has to sell slightly above 400 petrol sites, and the buyer is MOL Group. So also the big player, big forecourt and petrol station retail chain player from Hungary, which will take over 417 sites from Orlen. And basically that will be the quite solid and big entry of the big international player to the Polish market. We know more because it was number of episodes, I think at least one episode in the Shop Talk Live. So we know that this is very well developed company in terms of the convenience retail, the strong brands and good fresh concepts. So I think it will be interesting to see how the situation develops on the market. Please, next slide. Of course, we have kind of also risks associated to the activity of the retail chains in Poland, and especially these days in this part of Europe, these risks are significant because we have very high inflation comparing to other countries in European Union. We have almost 4%, which was my year on year, but the forecast for the next months is even worse. That probably will hit something like between 15 and 18% of inflation. So it's of course difficult to forecast, to predict what will happen with the pricing and in general in the business with the margins. We have part of the high inflation, of course, is the increasing energy prices that influence all costs that are associated with the retail operation. That all was caused by war in Ukraine. So this is kind of dangerous risk for the country, for the society. And we are also having a lot of refugees coming from Ukraine, so we can say directly discuss with them and directly confront how the situation in Ukraine develops, and this is really also influence our society and our business moods in Poland. Comparing to the unemployment level that I mentioned in the previous slide, 5.1, the limited availability of labor is also the part of the risks that is associated to the retail market, because 5.1% of the unemployment means that basically everybody who wants to work is able to find a job. So it's not easy to find new associates, new people for the retail points. And the buying power of the society is also something that affects retail sales, because we have significant growth of the interest rate in the economy. Many people having mortgages, basically paying significantly, sometimes even 2 times higher annual or monthly installments for the mortgages. That means that basically they have less disposable income for spending, and that of course influence the retail sales in Poland. So in general, we have quite good structure of the market. We have really dominated segments and with the leaders that are basically influencing all the trends. They are setting up the market and setting up the standards on the market. However, number of risks that currently are on the market give also some, let's say, risks for considering what will be the future and what will be the planning, what will be the forecasting for the future of this business in Poland. So not easy times, but we are looking anyway with the optimism in the future.
Well, thank you, Leszek. I think that sets up the episode really well. Just tell us about your role with NACS. Just before we move on in the program, your NACS relationship partner for Poland, aren't you? Just tell us about your experience so far in that role.
Yes, I am a NACS relationship partner for Central and Eastern Europe. So basically responsible for promoting and offering NACS networking solution, educational solution, and basically supporting the members of NACS, also not members, but maybe future members from the industry. So really proud to have this role in this part of Europe and hope to get as much as possible NACS presence in Central and Eastern Europe, also involving more and more members to the organization.
Very good. Now, Mark, you've visited Poland quite recently and
Yes.
frequently, haven't you? It's probably one of the markets, I mean, looking at your LinkedIn, I'd say it's one of the markets you spent most time in recently. Is that true?
Definitely a lot of time, Dan. And what I find is that quite often we try to look west to look for innovation or for something new that is happening. In Europe, we quite often look north when it comes to ESG and topics like that. But what I find is that in Eastern Europe and in Poland in particular, there's a lot going on, like Leszek just showed us, and as we will hear from Adam later on, it's really the epicenter of innovation when it comes to technology within Europe right now. So it's a very, very interesting market.
Absolutely. And just in terms of, I mean, the NACS family, I mean, it's something you're very much, you're a proud parent of the NACS relationship partners structure worldwide, Mark, aren't you?
I am, yes. So with our NACS relationship partners, we have 14 around the globe right now in different countries on all continents. And Leszek being our NACS relationship partner for Central and Eastern Europe, we started our NACS Convenience Leaders Exchange, our smaller, more local event in January in Warsaw, which was a big success. We already have a new date for next year, so we will do that annually now. I think a lot good is coming from those markets. And I mean, the situation right now is not easy with the crisis that we have in Eastern Europe, but the Polish retailers are just amazing with what they are doing.
Very good. Well, thank you, Mark. And I think this brings us to the second part of the program, don't you, Carolyn? Shall we bring on Żabka and talk about their story?
I think that sounds wonderful. So as I mentioned in the beginning, we are joined by CEO Dr. Adam Manikowski, who is Żabka Poland's running the show over there. So welcome, Dr. Manikowski.
Hello, everyone. Hi.
Now, Adam, if I can give you a proper introduction, because I think it's really interesting. I mean, your experience is really interesting, and I guess we can see that it's quite impressive and varied. So let me explain that to the audience. So obviously, you've worked obviously for many years in various senior roles within the Żabka business. From supply chain, assortment, communication to technical and sales. You're now CEO. But before that, you had some very extensive international experience, which is being brought to bear. We can see you're executive vice president of marketing at Walmart. Before that, you were with Tesco, where you held the position of chief executive managing director of Tesco Poland. You had some experience while at Tesco in the Far East. Obviously, we love covering all the technological developments from the Far East, so I found that interesting. Biedronka before that, and you are, amongst other things, a graduate of Stanford. So pretty impressive bio. And, I think we're going to be, I think there's a very exciting story today in terms of what Żabka have been working on. So we're really looking forward to hearing that from you.
Sure. It will be a pleasure to describe you our business model. So thank you for invitation.
Absolutely. So obviously convenience is our thing, Adam, as you know. And how is Żabka positioned for the convenience opportunity?
So if you look at our business model and our value proposition, so we strongly believe that time is the new currency right now. So for many customers, it's more important than, for example, pricing and the lowest prices. And in Żabka, we want to make sure that the customers actually can save time by not only quick shopping, but also by doing and arranging other services which we offer in our stores. So right now in Poland, we have 8,400 stores. And the number is growing because we are opening more than 1,000 stores per year. This year we will open more than 1,100 stores. So this is like 3 stores per day. So this number is constantly growing, which shows that our penetration and access to the customers is increasing every day. We right now have around 15 million of regular customers and 3 million people visit per day. And what is interesting, because convenience is proximity, that 15 million Poles, they live within 500 meters of our stores, which shows how big access and how big penetration on the market we have. We are open actually all day. So our stores are open from 6 to 11 p.m. And we also have some additional businesses and tools to create the special ecosystem in the center of which we have a customer. So we have our app, which is the leading app in Poland, and right now we have 8 million users. We are developing our e-commerce services, which is the Już, so deliveries under 15 minutes, and Delio, like the full top-up shopping and deliveries under 1 hour. So, and the beauty of the model is that in the center of this is a customer, but also the time. And our objective is to make the customer's time easier. And if you look at the customer, where we focus a lot is, of course, we are tracking the NPS of the customers, which is constantly growing, but we are creating the value through also proper assortment. So we are putting lots of effort to make sure that we create uniqueness through the assortment. I give you the example. So only during the last 12 months, we introduced 1,000 new products to Żabka. And within those 1,000 products to Żabka, 300 of those products were unique branded products, were unique in Żabka. So we could only buy them in Żabka, and those were top brands in Poland. So we are creating the top of mind awareness of the customers. If you want to find something new, if you want excitement, I go to Żabka to see what are the novelties. We are also creating the excitement through promotional schemes. So we have like multi-packs, we have happy hours, we have special actions, like the example for ice creams, or big actions with the biggest suppliers in Poland. We are growing our offering from the Żabka Cafe perspective. And from convenience perspective, it's very important. In Żabka Cafe, you can buy coffee, you can buy hot dog, you can buy panini, you can buy burgers, you can buy meat pies, you can buy French fries, everything to consume on a go. We are the biggest hot dog seller in Poland, biggest sandwiches seller in Poland. So this part of our business is also very important for us. And we are also looking at how we are creating value through the differentiation. So we are, I think, the only retailer in Poland which had the KPI, which is the differ ratio. So we are checking on to what extent our assortment is different from other players, which also creates additional competitiveness for us.
Absolutely. Well, it's interesting. You know, we over the years, I guess, we've heard from a number of businesses who are the retail outlets that consumers go to for innovation. You know, and if you're doing that, it's obviously very important. Obviously, from a consumer perspective, there's a lot going on. But stepping back and looking at the business as a whole, there's a lot of transformation going on in Żabka right now, or has been over the last few years, Adam.
Yes, so we went through the big transformation program, and the transformation program was around 3 pillars. And the most important one was the first one, which is the format evolution. So just recently, until 2020, we rebranded and refurbished all our stores to our Galaxy format stores. So from like the traditional corner stores, we transformed those stores into modern convenience stores. Right now, I would even say ultra convenience stores. So we invested a lot into the new lighting, new layout, new fixtures, new equipment, new layout, which allows us to have the space to grow our assortment, which is very important from convenience perspective, like quick meal solutions, like food to go, like Żabka Cafe. So this was a big transformation program, and it was the biggest remodeling program in Europe ever, because we transformed a few thousand stores. And right now, every store we are opening this store in this kind of format. What is also very important from a format evolution perspective is that it gives us the format flexibility, and format flexibility, which I will touch on a little bit later, allows us to unlock the growth potential. So we can be, thanks to this, more locations. And digital transformation, which we started a few years ago, allowed us to be more efficient and to tailor our value proposition for customers better. So right now in our company, we have 20% of people working in the digital and analytical departments, only focusing on creating the innovations and digitally transforming our organizations.
So
and
that's 20% of all your employees are
Yes.
working in digital. Well, that's a very interesting number, isn't it?
So we are not only saying and talking about the digital transformation, but we are actually doing this. And all the AI tools, all the machine learnings, all the nano and unmanned stores, which we will describe during this conversation, this is the outcome of the work of those teams and of being really very consistent in our digital transformation journey. And the third pillar, very important, is transformation of responsibility, because we know it's not only in Poland, it's across the world. The customers are more and more responsible in terms of the choices. So we want to encourage our customers to do the proper and healthy consumption choices, but also as a business, we want to play really a role of being the true member of the society, which cares about the environment and also which helps to grow the local communities.
Well, very interesting. We'd like to hear more about the digital strategy side of the business, Adam. So perhaps you could tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so right now I can say that after those few years of transformation, we have the digitalization and it transformed all our departments. And if you look at our network, we are a complex network, yes, because we have more than 8,000 stores. We work and cooperate with more than right now 7,000 of franchisees. We have extended supply chain network, and it would be very difficult to manage this kind of big company, big corporation without the proper digital tools. So if you look at the most important of them, we use them. Many people ask how we are making this, that we are opening more than 1,000 stores per year without almost zero cannibalization and without diluting our return on investments. We are using, for example, artificial intelligence to assess the location where we want to open the stores. So what we did, we assessed almost 10 million of addresses in Poland. So we exactly know which part of Poland and where we have the biggest potential to grow and to open our stores. And we know up to, with the confidence of 99%, of what is going to be the future sales of the stores and even the margin mix and the profitability of the franchisee. We are also using the AI to manage the assortment. So imagine we are easily managing the 2,500 planograms, which helps us to tailor our assortment for the needs of the local customers, because the customer in Warsaw is a different customer than the customer in a rural area or the customer in the transit area. So we are able, with the help of the machine learning and AI, also to do this. We use extensively the digitalization in our supply chain to predict and to forecast the demand. We use the automated replenishment processes in our stores. So the franchisee does not need to spend lots of time to the ordering, just press the enter and he has the goods come, and we are able to maintain 99% of the shelf availability. But also we are implementing the AI tools to manage our pricing and promotional activities. So I think it's important to say that it's not only in one department, it's across all the organization. It helped us and it helps all the management teams to manage the processes more efficiently. But what is most important, it creates our competitive advantage because our value proposition is better tailored for franchisees and for the final customers. Because what we are doing from the digital transformation perspective, we are creating tools not only for customers, but also for franchisees. And in Żabka, we say that we have two hearts. One is franchisee and one is customer, because there would be no Żabka without the franchisees and there would be no Żabka without customers.
Very interesting. I suppose one thing that comes to mind is obviously with the scale of the business and then the pace of your continued expansion in the market, you have to have a multi-format approach to make that work, don't you?
Exactly. And also the digital transformation helps us to manage multi-format approach. And you are truly right, because multi-format approach help us not only to grow very fast, but also to maintain high economics of each stores. And right now we have the stores which are successfully operating in rural areas, successfully operating in large city areas. We have traffic stores. Within the traffic stores, we have even ultra high traffic stores, which are the small stores in the most traffic areas. We have mobile stores. Those are the stores which are during the biggest events like concerts or fairs. So we go with the store there and we can be close to our customers, but we are also opening the stores at the petrol station. And what is also important, we are growing very fast with the numbers of our seasonal stores. So those are the stores which are at the seaside, at the biggest lakes in Poland, in the mountains in Poland. So where the customers are during the certain season of the year. So they are open for the season. And I need to tell you that in all those stores, there is a slightly different value proposition in terms of the product mix, layout and assortment, but the overall value proposition for customers, which is saving the customers time, is maintained. And we are able across all those formats, due to the especially IT tools which we have, maintain the same consistency of the offering, which is the great value from the competitiveness perspective.
Thank you. I mean, it's pretty impressive, Carolyn, isn't it?
Very impressive. Very impressive.
I guess, Carolyn, I've often been talking to you about Zabka Nano, and Adam, I'm going to, obviously one of our reasons to invite you onto the program was to hear about Zabka Nano. But just before we do that, one of the really interesting things about the Żabka business is that your digital strategy is embedded in your strategy, isn't it? It's not as if you're trialing a few autonomous stores. It's the Zabka Nano is if you like the what the consumer sees, but yeah. What's going on underneath the hood, to use an American analogy, is pretty impressive across the whole business, isn't it? I mean, it's just a comment from me rather than a question.
Yes, so you're right. I think it's because if you look at the other retailers, everyone says about the digital evolution, but revolution or transformation, but we are actually doing this. But in order to do it, you need some time. We started this in 2016. And it needs to go through your organization top down, because for this, you also need to change the mindset of the people to use those tools, yes, and not to use the tools which they've been using for like last 20 years. So it changed totally the company. And you mentioned Żabka Nano, which is our newest product, which we worked for some time. But this is also the outcome. We wouldn't be able to create this format if digitalization was not the part of our, like the core DNA.
Absolutely.
Well, and Adam, even just building it into your company culture, just like you said, is just so key. And I've heard from retailers around the globe that when you do that, then you really put the ambition behind that. And so it definitely shows. And technology is one heck of a thing to put that into, because it's constantly changing from 2016 to today even, and then throw in a pandemic in the middle and change it again. Yes. So you guys are certainly keeping on your toes, but keeping the entire company moving along the same train is amazing.
And you know, it's important to make it. Once you do it, you need to do it fully. Yes. So I mean, you need to find a proper capital to invest, but also proper partners. Like we are partnering with Snowflakes, with Salesforce, with Microsoft. We are golden partners of them. So they are all helping. We are together going through this journey. So I think those two aspects are very important.
Now, nevertheless, a lot of interest in the stores in Nano. Tell us a bit about Nano, Adam.
So this is, as I said, our latest product. So right now we have 46 Żabka Nano stores. So we can say that we are the biggest unmanned stores retailer in Europe right now. And Nano changed the shopping experience of the customers because it's totally seamless. So you enter the Nano store using your app or the credit card, and you take the product from the shelf, you go out from the store, and then after going out from the store, you receive the receipt on your phone. This is the great example also how our working on our format flexibility unlocks us other locations to be present, because for Nano store, those are the stores on the average like 20 square meters area, we can be present where normal Żabka could not be present. But also with this concept, we are targeting the very young population. So for them, going to Nano is like a great fun. And we can see that also the assortment which we are selling there is slightly different. So the assortment mix is also great from margin perspective. But I think that technology which we implemented there is also technology which cannot be easily replicated by the competitors, because what we did, we partnered up with the startup AIFI from Silicon Valley. We spent a few years partnering with them, working together. So this is the tailor-made solution for Żabka. This is not copy-paste solution. This is tailor-made solution for Żabka. And the beauty of this concept is that if you look at other retailers again, so everyone almost is opening unmanned store, but only one or two, because it's difficult to replicate. We have the solution which we can replicate and which guarantees us a high economics of the stores. So we have the solution which we are replicating, and we have right now 46 Żabka Nano stores, and we will continue opening the Żabka Nano stores because they are working, the technology behind is working, and we are really fully satisfied with the first results which we have, but especially with the NPS and satisfaction for the customers, which makes that this format creates very fast and much faster than in traditional format, the loyalty of the customers, because the customer cannot find this shopping experience never, only in Żabka Nano. Well, and of course, we got this format was awarded. Yes, so we got the European Convenience Retail Technology Award. We were in 2000 this year. We were the winner, so we were very pleased to attend the event and to receive this award. So thank you for seeing and for acknowledging the uniqueness of this format.
Well, congratulations again. And that was a terrific NACS event in Berlin only a few weeks ago. Now it seems like a long time, but it's only a few weeks ago in Berlin. So your team really enjoyed that, I think, Adam.
Yes, they did. You're right.
Well deserved. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, very good. Actually, just before we move on to the next question, we're going to ask you about supply chain, but just a point of I'd like a point of order, I guess, in a way that the indoor Nano can go as a store within a store, can't it? And then the outdoor Nano is presumably can be dropped anywhere outdoors, in a good location as a unit. So that's really interesting. And then I'm stating the obvious, but I just want to make sure I understand it right. And then the Nano bricks and mortar, that's just a regular store.
Yes,
that presumably is a bit bigger.
So yes, and it's a good point, because you can see that Nano as a format can be also present successfully in the areas with different customer flows. So for example, Nano Indoor, we opened Nano Indoor you can open Nano Indoor in a big hypermarket. It was selling, for example, sports goods, which we did which we are doing. You can open also the Nano Indoor in the big offices, which we are doing. Yes, which is great. So when you have an office where you have 3,000 employees, This is the great store to buy the sandwiches, drinks. You just enter and you go, you save your time. You don't need to waste your time in going outside from the office. And the Nano Outdoor is of course, like a brick and mortar and a separate standing store. The size is, all the sizes are similar. Of course, we can play with the size, but you need to be, we're also aware that we put and we open Nano in the locations and areas where our regular stores cannot exist because of the small area. So usually Nano is around 20 square meters, if it's indoor, outdoor, or brick and mortar. Yes, but we are looking at, so we are, for example, successfully opening Nano on the gyms. Yes, so it's not only high street, not only outside of the building, but successfully also inside of the building. So we are opening Nano in our distribution centers. Yes, so this is the very flexible also concept, which help us to unlock many potential locations.
Very interesting, Carolyn. Eh?
Yeah, I'd love. One of these days, I look forward to getting over there to see them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, looking at, obviously, again, we're looking at the bit the consumer sees, but what about the logistics and supply chain? Is that something you've also worked on, Adam?
Yeah, so to sustain the growth, not only to sustain the growth, but to sustain daily operations, you need to have extensive supply chain. And if you look at the performance of other convenience retailers, and logistics is one of the most difficult parts to nail, to make sure that from the cost perspective, we are efficient there. So we are able to successfully deliver the goods to our 8,400 stores, which are, as you could see, in these different areas, different catchment areas. We are doing this through our 8 distribution centers in Poland and 19 cross docks. So half of the deliveries, they go directly from distribution centers to our stores. But second half, especially for the locations in the biggest cities, in the city centers, they go through our cross docks. So delivery goes from the distribution center to the cross dock, and with the small cars from the cross docks to the separate stores. We have only 2% of the deliveries which are not going through our distribution centers. Those are the local and regional products ordered by the franchisees. So we are managing actually 98% of all the deliveries. They go through our supply chain. And in the supply chain, we also use digital transformation helped us to use the tools like, for example, paperless. We don't use any paper, so we shortened the time of accepting the delivery by the franchisees tremendously. We are using the sophisticated forecasting tools, not only for our supply chain teams, but also for the suppliers to make them ready for example, the sales peak. We have sophisticated warehouse management systems. We are also working on the transportation systems to make sure that we are optimizing the routes between the stores. We are working on the dedicated deliveries for the stores, etc. So many initiatives which help us to stay efficient, and those efficiencies which we get, we reinvest in the value for customers and for the franchisees. Yes, and thanks to this, we grow our top line as well. One of our our newest project is our new distribution center, which will be the most modern distribution center in Europe. This will be fully automated with a big high bay. It will be delivering the goods it will be serving 3,500 stores, and later on up to 5,000 stores only from one distribution centers. What is interesting, it's fully in line with our ESG agenda, because it's 100% operates on a green energy. The area of this is 60,000 square meters, and we implemented there all the most innovative automated solutions.
Well, highly impressive. I mean, just thinking about one number you mentioned, that 98% figure, that's amazing, really, for given that the structure of the business. So you've almost got the same advantages as a multiple in terms of the efficiencies that you can drive in supply chain and so on.
Yes, and we are really focused on efficiencies, and we mentioned digital transformation helped us to achieve it. And I want to reemphasize that those efficiencies we are reinvesting in the value proposition for customers and for the franchisees. Yes, so it makes our business model really strong.
Well, you said, you got two hearts in Żabka. I think you said one is the consumer and the other is the franchisee. So
Exactly.
how do they fit in? Because obviously, absolutely key part of your business.
So if you look at our network of the stores, our franchisees, they are our brand ambassadors. So we need to make sure that they are happy with cooperating with Żabka. So we introduced a few years ago the approach which we call franchisee-centric approach. So we have a dedicated teams which are constantly working on the franchisee-centric initiatives. Only last year, we introduced more than 80 franchisee-centric initiatives. And among those initiatives, like you have the automatic store management, or you have segmentation of the assortment, and we have the state-of-the-art cyber store application. So you can manage all the store activities from your smartphone, as even doing the ordering on or seeing the live results of sales of different categories. We are also implemented the tools which none of the retailers has in Poland, which we call OptiPlan. So we went through all the processes in the store, and right now our franchisees, they have the tool which tells them what to do at the given moment of time and how to plan the work of his employees. What it gives, it makes that the store is run better, but it also helps franchisees to get the productivity efficiency. So he needs less FTEs, less people to do the same operations, which is additional savings from economics perspective for the franchisees. And I think it's important also to mention that our franchisees together, we are creating 45,000 jobs. That's why we are a very important and crucial part of the Polish economy. And also what we are doing from franchisee perspective, from franchisee-centric perspective, helps us to maintain the franchisees' high level of satisfaction. And high level of satisfaction of the franchisees is also the high level of how they run the business. So this part of our business, franchisees, being franchisee-centric, having franchisee heart is extremely important for us.
Well, and I think too, it allows them to be with the customer, the other part of the heart too, which, and Dan, you keyed in on the 98%, I keyed in on the 2% of product, which, as you mentioned, Adam, allows the franchisees to maintain a little bit of ownership on the product they carry, where it's local, which is important, which also feeds into the sustainability initiatives that are important to you as well.
Yes, Carolyn, you touched on a very important topic, because for franchisee, from Żabka perspective, is a member of local community. Yes, so he serves the local needs of the local community. So this regionalization from assortment perspective is very important. But what is also important to say that in Żabka business model, we combine the traditional approach to retail, which is our franchisee as a member of local community, with the most sophisticated digital tools, which helps the franchisees to run the store.
Very good. Now, sustainability is one of your passions, isn't it, Carolyn? You had a lot of experience working when you were with NACS on that topic.
Yes, definitely. I have a shirt that says "I love recycling" that I wear around the house frequently. So it's a very, very important thing to not only me, but customers, employees, and it helps with employee retention as well. So I think you're definitely onto something over there.
So we wanted to ask you about ESG, environmental, social, and governance, Adam, in terms of that. How much of a priority is that with Żabka?
So we have a very strong ESG agenda, which is also embedded across all our organization. And we know that you need to have it, because for our customers, for communities, for the stakeholders, it's extremely important. So our ESG agenda is around four main pillars. So we want to make sure that we are creating the sustainable lifestyle for the customers, that we have the mindful business impact, that we are responsible organization, and that we are caring, and through our activities, we are creating the green planet. If you look at our flagship initiatives, for example, from sustainable lifestyle, we have joint Nutri-Score initiative. So when the customer is buying the product, they know if the product is healthy or less healthy, so we can promote good, healthy choices. And we also have some targets considering this, where we want to double sales of healthy products within the short period of time. From the mindful business impact, mindful business impact perspective, we were voted in 2020 Retailer of the Year, voted by the suppliers. Last year, we received the same prize. So this is great that we can grow the company. We are growing also our suppliers' businesses. And also from responsible organization perspective, we want to, and we have 5 times higher employee engagement versus Poland average. So which shows that we are really creating this kind of working place. And from Green Planet, and this is very important because it also goes across all our organization, we achieved plastic neutrality in 2020 and 2021. And what we want to do is by 2025, in terms of the scope 1 and 2, we want to be climate neutral by 2025 and reduce scope 3 intensively in stores by that time. So we already achieved many awards. Yes, we EcoVadis Platinum Medal. So we are actually best in Poland. We are first retailer in the CE with the validated decarbonization pledge. And also we received the best ESG report in Poland award. So we are not only talking, but we are also doing, and our ESG agenda is also right now part of our DNA and part of our strategy.
Very, very good. Impressed, Carolyn?
I am. I was going to say you need a really big shelf for all those awards, but that wouldn't be very sustainable to have things, right? So we'll put them all on the website, I'm sure.
Yes, we do.
Well, Adam, if I can just say, I mean, obviously, huge brand in Poland, huge reputation in Poland and internationally. But if, through this program, if we can add to that in terms of providing a bit of detail behind your strategy, we're delighted to do so. And I think huge interest in all the aspects of Żabka's strategy and your success so far. So, it's a big congratulations from us. And, we're delighted you're able to spend the time. You have some busy days, I suspect. So we're delighted you're able to spend the time with Carolyn and I and share some of this content with our global audience. So thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you all. It was really a pleasure to share some insights and highlights of our business model. And thank you again for the invitation.
Terrific. Thanks.
Yeah, this is fascinating. Thank you. Great to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Wow. So Carolyn, highly interesting business in terms of their strategy. You could take away, there's lots of takeaways there, aren't there?
That was incredible. Just the amount of efficiency and just technological advancement that they're doing there is just blown me away. That's for sure.
Poland leading the way.
Poland leading the way. Well, speaking of Poland leading the way, we've got another a big tour where you can see some of the things that are leading the way, companies that are leading the way here in the United States coming up, don't we?
We do. And you have something to do with that, don't you?
I've been a little busy. It's been awesome. I was actually just out yesterday visiting a number of these stores that we're going to be visiting on September 30th specifically. We're going to start on the 29th with a fabulous drinks reception. And then on the 30th, we're going to get on some buses and we're going to drive around the Eastern United States and in Northern Virginia here and tour some of the most innovative concepts that I've ever seen, not only on the East Coast, but of the entire US. We're going to see some Wawas, some Sheets, some 7-Eleven, Evolution store. That's hard to say. And Amazon Fresh as well. So, and I'm excited because I get to see you in person.
You're always excited though, Carolyn. I mean, that's what we love about you.
That's true. I do bring a little enthusiasm. I try anyway.
Very good. And of course, I mean, just to put the Washington DC market focus in context, that's a stepping stone to the NACS show, isn't it? Which will happen straight afterwards in Las Vegas. There it is. Yeah,
we've got a big country. It's a couple hours away, but we're gonna fly right from here to DC, right over to Las Vegas, and it's 3 days of fun and convenience and learning and networking, and something I look forward to every year. I know you do too, Dan.
Absolutely. Well, I suspect this isn't official, but I suspect it will be probably the biggest NACS show ever. Because it's like the pent up enthusiasm to all get together is considerable, isn't it? So looking forward to that, Karen. Looking forward to seeing you in DC first. And it's been an interesting episode, hasn't it?
Yes, definitely. I learned a lot, and I, as always, enjoy learning this with you.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Well, thanks a lot for watching, and see you again soon.